Christian Wood is part of the Rockets' future, and he should not be traded this preseason. Now, before I get started on why Christian Wood is such a valuable player for the Rockets, I think it goes without saying that if the Rockets get some stupid mind-boggling offer, then they should really pull the trigger. However, anything less than that should not be considered and honestly laughed at. Before the Rockets signed Christian Wood last offseason, there were a lot of question marks regarding his ability, and these doubts were justified as he only flashed his skills and capabilities in very small spurts, especially when he was in Detroit. He played 62 games and only started 12, but he had a stat line of 13 points per game and 6 rebounds per game on 57% shooting from the field and 39% shooting from 3. Before the Rockets, he was bouncing around the league playing for 5 teams in 4 years. Thus, the question marks on if he was a flash in the pan and just producing on a very bad team like Jeremy Lin, or if he was legit. However, in the home stretch of the 2019-2020 season, he was on a tear, putting up monster stat lines that no one expected. 32 points, 7 boards against Philly, 30 points, 11 boards against Utah, 29 points, 9 boards against OKC, 26 points and 9 boards against Portland, and the list of these games went on and on. The question marks, though significant, were slowly being put in the shadows as teams were enamored with his ability to shoot and have a full developed inside-outside game. His production was undeniable, especially when he started getting 30 minutes a game. However, teams were still wary. This allowed the Rockets to sign Christian Wood for a bargain at 3 years $41 million. Originally, the plan was to pair him up with Harden and Westbrook. He was not only a big that we desperately needed, but he would also allow the Rockets to continue to play the 5-out style that Stephen Silas loves. However, as we know, that did not go according to plan. We swapped Westbrook for Wall and traded Harden to start a rebuilding process. As the season progressed, one thing was evident. Christian Wood was exceeding expectations that both fans and the organization had for him without Harden. In this past season, he played 41 games out of 72, but he started all 41 games. He averaged 32 minutes a game, 21 points a game, 10 rebounds a game, 1 block a game, while shooting an impressive 51% from the field and 37% from 3. He was better than advertised, and as the season went along, he slowly became the best contract in the league. And that is where the rumors start. At roughly $13 million a year for the next 2 years, many teams who are near the cap limit are able to fit him into their team financially without giving up any high-wage players or assets. In addition to that, he is 25 years old, entering his prime, and many outsiders believe that he does not fit into the Rockets' timeline due to the abundant amount of talent they have under the age of 22. Let's be honest, the Rockets are a young team. They are years removed from title contention, so reporters are using that to their advantage to pry away our best player. Unless the Rockets get a trade offer they just cannot refuse, then they should not trade Christian Wood and integrate him into our future. I trust Rafael Stone. He has made a series of moves and non-moves that have put our organization in a great position. He knows the true value of Christian Wood to not only our team, but to other teams as well. If they are not willing to pay his asking price, then to hell with them. Unlike some writers from The Athletic, Zach Harper, I think Christian Wood is an offensive monster. He is one of the few big men in the league that can literally score from anywhere on the court. I mentioned it before, but his ability to hit the 3 mid-range and take opposing big men off the bounce into the cup allow him to always be an unstoppable force on the offensive end. However, what impresses me most about the way he plays is how great he is when he does not have the ball in his hands. He is awesome in the pick and roll, pick and pop, and pick and fade game, which allows him and other teammates to create for him. We got a little preview last year, but I'm really excited to see him run the pick and roll game with Kevin Porter Jr. In addition to his screen game, he is also a great intuitive cutter, which allows him to get up high percentage looks the entire game. However, he does come with some downside. His defense is not all bad. In fact, I think his defensive game suffered from the entire team not being able to play defense rather than just himself. However, his weakness is his strength and weight. Many teams key in on this, and when he's up against players who are bigger and stronger, he gets boxed out easily and bullied to the rim. If he does play the 4, this weakness can be masked by playing next to Theis. Lastly, his age is higher than a young core, but in the grand scheme of things, when Green is 25, he will be 31. He would still be in his prime, although near the end of it, while Green and the rest of our young core will be entering their prime. Overall, I truly think that Christian Wood has a part in the Rockets' long-term future. And if the Rockets' young core somehow accelerate their growth, the Rockets will be ready to blast off for the championship.